Նախ շնորհակալություն եւս մեկ անգամ, քանի որ հետաքրքիր քննարկումները ինչպես գիտեք շարունակվում են եւ հատկապես այս պահին, որ եկել եք ու ցանկանում ենք լսել արդեն Լիլիթ Գաբրիելյանի բանախոսությունը, որը վստահ ենք շատ հետաքրքիր կանցնի եւ սիրով հարթակը տրամադրենք ձեզ։ Շնորհակալություն շատ։
Hello, as you already know, I'm Lilit. I am from DISQO, lead data engineer there. I'm responsible for the data pipelines in DISQO, starting from gathering that from our customers till delivering to data warehouses. So I will try today to talk about the new processes, which is called the DataOps, how we can improve our processes from ideas, how to deliver it to the clients, how different data teams, scientists, data analysts, data engineers, how they can collaborate easily and deliver value to the organization that we work at. So first of all, let's check how many of you are familiar with DevOps. Have you any experience? Good. And overall, how many of you are experienced data scientists? How many of you are starting this path now? How many of you are more than 3 years? Okay, so we have understanding who we are working with. Okay, first of all, let's go to the. Okay, let's talk about a bit DevOps and see how those are related to the DataOps. As you may know, DevOps has improved the software engineering life, totally improved the process, how we create things and deliver the things, making releases faster, like from the month till 1 second delivery to the client. So we are going to talk how DataOps can do the similar thing in a data analytics world and data scientist world. So as you know, we should work with some agile systems so we can adjust our processes to fulfill the organization needs. So our business team, marketing team, they are always requesting some new changes. They are requesting to try this one, try that one, and you need to be very flexible to adapt to the requirements of the company. So agile is a mandatory part when you want to adopt such techniques as DevOps or DataOps. Another part is a DevOps. What is it? It is a combination of development and IT specialists together, which improves the process a lot. So in DataOps we have this part, and the third and important part that we have in data world is our data pipelines. What does that mean? That in data-oriented companies, data flow from customer till the market, till the researcher, and this is a bit different than what we have in a software. Data need to be qualified, sanitized, verified. All those features should be applied when the data is flowing through the companies. So DataOps seeks to DataOps wants to solve those problems, how to make easy to deploy, how to make the code manageable, and how to maintain the data flow, data quality flow, and data fulfillment flow in a company. So in order to understand how we are going to work, whenever we are adopting a DevOps technology, it is mostly for software engineers and IT specialists. Who are the software engineers? We all know they are motivated to learn new language. They are motivated to work with the new tool. But in case of data scientists, they are more scientists rather than coders. So you don't need to make their life harder, rather than you need to make their life easier. And they probably want to work with 1 or 2 tools and not to deal with many, many complexities that you provide. So those are the very different parts of the data specialist and the software specialist, and this makes DataOps and DevOps very different. In a DevOps lifecycle, there is usually illustrated as an infinite symbol. When you plan, you create and deploy, monitor, and then the cycle starts again. Let's discuss what we have in data world. In a data world, there is a production-ready solution. We have a data which is flowing from the customers. We have production-ready reporting, views, models that are running daily and delivering a value to the business, right? And with that pipeline, we also have a need to introduce something new to our data, right? There are some ideas from the business marketing team that, oh, let's try this new feature, this new model. And those features need to be later be applied to the production smoothly. So none of you in data scientist team will go and deploy your models in production. That is a more everyone is doing their research. They are working with their variables, models, data, but you need help to deliver your data to the business, right? And here is a DataOps comes to solve the problems. So let's see what processes we have and what challenges data introduced to the already existing DevOps pipeline. In a DevOps, we have any software engineer develops something, build and test, which is the automation provided by the DevOps teams. Your tests will run automatically, your integration tests will run automatically, then some automated processes will deliver your release to the client, and that's all, it is ready. But with the data, we have a bit more complexity there. First of all, we need to create an environment for data scientists to work with the data. We need then the development processes coming, then the orchestration with the build and testing, deploy, then again orchestrate, I will tell about it a bit later, and monitor your processes. So let's discuss each of those steps in depth and understand what issues are there and how solving those issues will reduce the time from the idea to deliver it to the client. First of all, Sandbox. How many of you are working with the Sandbox data or have testing or development environments with the qualified data? Yeah. Okay. Is the issue in your company to have those environments? Is it hard for any newcomer to have the ability to work with the test data?
Yeah, actually, we are in the process for improvement, but we had such problems too.
Yeah. So in software engineering life, it is very, very straightforward how you can introduce someone to help his infrastructure. Consider you are a backend engineer. Everything that you need is your coding tool. You need some data, testing database, and that's all that you need. Then you push and everything will work. For data scientists and data analysts, it is very challenging to have this sandbox organized properly, as there are many tools that they are using. For example, Tableau, that you are using your Jupyter notebooks, lots of other tools that you are using, and those needs to be prepared in a sandbox. Then there is a problem with the data itself. You can't copy terabytes of data to the staging or testing environment. You need to have good sample data. You need to sanitize your data. You need to remove PII information from the data so you are not dealing with the client's or your customer's personal information. All those steps need to be automated, so whenever a data scientist or a data analyst wants to try something new, there is a please run those scripts. You have your environment up, you have your tools up and there, and you can go and run with it. So this, having those processes automated will help reduce the time of the experiment. Then you do your development, then orchestration of a pipeline. So this needs also to be automated. What data analysts and data scientists usually do, they create you need your notebooks there, you need your environment there, Redshift, either it is whatever you are using there. You need the process to be testable, you need to all those things work together to be in a same environment, to work easily with this. You have those licensing. If the data is very sensitive, you need licensed also on your staging and testing environment. So DevOps part should also automate those parts there. Second is challenges in testing. As we already mentioned, there are two different pipelines in a DataOps. One is your data pipeline when data flows and production is ready, and one is the innovation pipeline where you are introducing your new features. In a data pipeline, your models are static. They are static, and what is the changing part there? The data. So you need to have some control over your data. You need to control the statistic of your data, volume of your data, fulfillment of the data. Everything needs to be tested in production. You have some statistic analysis of the data. For example, in our company, we are using a tool called Absolver, where we can see the fulfillment rate of the data. Like if some information we were receiving, and after something, the value of those attributes are dropped, then that is an issue, and teams should be alerted on those cases. This is very specific to the data teams. And the second pipeline is related to the innovative pipeline. There, the code, you have Sandbox, you have configured your Sandbox, you have your data there. Data is fixed. Now you are experimenting with your code, your models. So here need to be introduced a unit test for the code itself, not the data quality. The second orchestration is, consider you have deployed this, right? There are very many processing running around the data. Data is coming, data is transformed, ETL, moved from one environment to another, from one model to another. Everything should be orchestrated and maintainable. For example, you can use Airflow, you can use any other scheduling or organization tool to orchestrate all those parts and have this smooth flow of data in a company. And after those improvements, you can say that what is the goal of the DataOps? To try to connect what people? In DevOps, we are connecting software engineers with the IT specialist. Now let's see who are we connecting with the DataOps. From one end, we are connecting engineers, who are the data engineers, scientists, analysts, with the business team, right? Business team, IT team, who are the consumer of the data. And from the another end, we are connecting what we are calling by the distributed teams, as more ideas in a data are coming from the business marketing. Those teams need to be self-serving, and they should be able to work with the data on their own. For example, they have some Tableau or something similar to that to work with data, to analyze the data. And then their ideas should be delivered to the centralized data teams, which have those standards, how they write code, how they write unit tests, how they deliver, how they deploy the product. So we are connecting those business and marketing teams with the engineering team. And saying this, that we can see that we have this cycles of innovation. We have self-service teams, which are our BI analyst, marketing. We have central data teams who are responsible for creating pipelines, for creating new models, with the company standards. And we have a production team who is responsible for delivering those data to the business. So this becomes a cycle between generating an idea, delivering it to the DataOps team to deploy it, and then to the production team to maintain the data quality there. So this creates something similar to the infinite cycle that we have in a DevOps, but in a data world. So from idea to deliver, and these cycles will come back. From the production, there will be some feedbacks on the data, how this works, and then again, business team will have some ideas, and this cycle will go again. And the last thing that I would like to talk about today is how we can adapt such techniques in data, when you should start thinking of this. For example, our company is very data-driven. All products are around the data. If you are working in such environment, the data is a first-class citizen in your company, and you need to maintain data. You need to work with it frequently. You need to reduce the cycle between those innovations and deployment. You need to think about adopting the DevOps technology. First of all, how many of you are writing unit testing for your models, for your reports? I think very few of us are doing those in a data set, which is a very common technique in software engineering, but is not as usual in a data world. So you need to start from there, write tests, try to version control your work, try to do as usual software engineering is doing, merges, branches. You need to have multiple environments. Most of us have started working with one environment, which is a production, right? Most of us have started from there. You need to have those separation between testing, staging, pre-production, development, so you can work easily in different environments and not to affect the production. You need to reuse and container. You need to create scripts, automate the processes as much as you can, so the newcomer, new one who is coming to your team can easily work with it. Like if you have troubles with configuring your environment, those need, like one time you are passing it, you need to try to automate the process with the help of data engineer, with the help of IT special. Those processes need to automate it. And parameterizing your processing, what does this mean? Sometimes we are running pipelines to deliver data to the production. Then we can parameterize this to deliver to this endpoint, deliver to this endpoint, or parameterize filtering data, parameterize like some like 70% here, 30% here, so you can easily work with existing pipeline rather than creating something new every time you need some experiments with the data. And the last point is to try experiment, to try always improve all the things that are manual, all the things that you are annoying to do, everything that you like fed up to do. Everything needs to be automated, everything needs to be improved, so the companies see the value of the data scientist team. So whenever you are working on something that will take a month or more to deliver something which is unpredictable, which can have lots of effects and bugs, it is not good. Like you should try to automate processes and make it as painless as possible, both for business and both for the engineers. I think this is it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for a very specific topic. So do you have any questions? Yes, I see already.
Thank you for the presentation. I would like to ask a question regarding data science product industrialization. How long it takes in your case, in your company, going through this pipeline, and can you bring one example?
Okay, so for I can say that we also adopting this technology like maybe last half year. It is not fully set up in our company as well, but I can bring some few examples related to fraud detection. That previously our data scientists were running their models monthly, and that was hard for them to deliver those fraud users' IDs to the marketing team so they can block those users. So they then reach out to the data engineers, please, can you help us to automate the process? And we created a whole pipeline with the lambdas, with processes, with everything we created to automate the, and we used, mostly we are using the AWS related services to automate the processes, but the idea was to limit this to instantly deliver the fraud detection results to the customer. And now we have created a service and see that our pipeline is flowing. When someone, if there are no changes, our model will run weekly, update how we are detecting the fraud, run daily to see the fraud users. Fraud users are then migrated to some database, and then we have microservice who reads from there. And whenever there is a changes in the code base to detect the fraud, they are running immediately, like pushing, running a notebook in a SageMaker, deploy, like pushing the results in some S3, and then from there to the database, and with the microservice it is delivered to the customer application.
And do you have any questions? No? Okay, we have one special question for you. For example, we know that there are companies that are not tech concentrated. So why DevOps specialists are important for these companies and how they can manage their specialization?
How they can manage on their own or with higher?
Data, so especially DevOps.
I think they any company who is working with data will have benefits adopting this technology, as this is, like, if you remember what does DevOps in software, this will do in a scientist world. So they need to hire people with IT skills, with DevOps skills. So, and most one important part, that those specialists, DataOps, are collaboration between DevOps specialists and data scientists or data engineers. The single DevOps specialist can't work alone to improve your processes. They need help from scientists, from the engineers, to understand how to work with data, what is important working with data. So this is collaboration, and they need to create those bridges between them to work on the same language, to work in the same terminology, to understand each other and improve the processes.
We got it. So, as we understood, first of all, the companies that are not tech concentrated, they do find specialists from all sectors. So, what they should do?
Hire specialists for DevOps, platform engineers, first of all, to organize their infrastructure. I think even if they are not adopting a DataOps, they still need some specialists there to, like, someone should create those databases, like clusters, maintain them. I am sure that data scientists are not doing that work. They need those specialists there.
Thank you very much for your speech.
Thank you.
Yes.